Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Augustus, and I'm back again with another episode of Tsukihime. When we last left off, we were getting very close to the end, and keep knocking things off. Yeah, we're getting very close to the end, and I'm losing my train of thought. But yes, let's continue, shall we? Before, someone told me that true ancestors are a perfect life just by being in this natural world. They are an extension of nature, so they can draw as much power from the source called Earth. That's why they won't die. They have no limits. Oh, so that means they are only perfect in this natural world. Look for it. It has to exist. If I can see the death of everything, the point has to exist somewhere. I was mistaken. There are no causes of death on Arcoade. In that case, first, I have to take which makes it so. I found it. It's far away, but I can't allow any more of this. Arcoade. Her hand stops. Follow me. I'll kill you out there. Saying that, I jump out the window and onto the school grounds. In the center of the ground. It's far. Can I make it? Arcoade pursues me with light footsteps. It's far, but I'll strike first this time. Ha! I reach the middle of the school ground. Arcoade comes straight at me. Before that, I take my knife and stab the large point at my feet, the death of the very world around me. A distortion. With this, it's over. Everything around her, I killed the nature that Arcoade draws all of her power from. You've thought well, Shiki. Arcoade comes towards me. Her body is filled with death now. All right, I can do it. I can kill Arcoade like this, but before I confirm my victory, blood pours from my mouth. Probably because her movements were so fast. I just couldn't believe it, and I didn't feel pain or shock or anything. The slicing sound finally reaches my ears, the sound of blood pouring forth. Looking down, Arcoade's claws pierced through my chest before I even realized it. I feel faint. Everything starts to fade away quickly. Her arm has thrust through my chest, impaling me. That is a fatal wound for a normal human being. But I won't die just yet. With the way I am now, I'll still be able to live a bit longer. From my ankles, the pitch black shadow of death starts to creep upwards. I don't care. I forcefully swallow the blood pouring from my mouth, and I slice the line on her chest with one hand. Arcoade's voice. I can barely hear it. My head is fading. Is it the pain from Arcoade piercing my chest? Or is my brain about to burn out from being strained to the limit? Well, whichever it is, it doesn't change the fact that my death is coming. I start to feel faint. But before that, with this knife, I have to cut her line. Disappear, you vampire. Don't fool around. I won't die with such a thing. Her hands grab my head. But faster than Arcoade's hand trying to squeeze my head, I slice my knife down to her thigh. Just go away. I'll take Roa with me. Without your help, I'll kill him. So disappear. I don't want to fight you." "What are you saying? You're the one who refused me." Her grip increases. The sound of my skull fracturing. It's like that scene in Game of Thrones. I can't remember the season. "I'll kill Roa right here. I told you I won't go back unless I do so. You stupid woman." My knife swings again. With a slice, I cut off her arm. Her white arm falls to the ground. Arcoade staggers back. As soon as I see that, I crumble to the ground. Like a puppet with its strings cut, I collapse on my rear end. "Shiki." I hear Arcoade's somewhat hesitating voice. I can't speak well. Cough. I'm not going to cough. I will start coughing for real, and I don't want to do that too much. If I move my throat, the only thing that pours forth is red blood. Shiki. Fading. The pressure and killing aura Arcoade was exerting is fading away. Is it because of her wounds? Or is it because the wounds she gave me were so terrible? She is returning to the Arcoade that I once knew. Thank God. I don't know what's so good, but hang in there, Shiki. If you become mine, that wound will be nothing. She reaches out to me. With a hazy mind, I lift my hand and stop her. Why? Shiki, you'll die like this, you know? Look, I'll forgive you for earlier, and I won't worry about Ciel either. I don't want you to die, Shiki. So, please become mine, Shiki. Back and forth. Even though I can barely breathe, I shake my head no. I don't understand. If you die, Roa will just reincarnate. Even if you hate Roa, right? If you die like this, he'll just take over your body. Oh, yeah. Certainly, I can't let that happen. But if I just follow Arcoade, I think the same thing will happen. Even if Arcoade sucks my blood, like what happened to Roa, and I gain the willpower so I won't lose Roa, in the end, Roa will not disappear by his own will unless Arcoade turns to acknowledge him. No. I can't do what you say. Why? Do you really hate me that much, Shiki? Don't be crazy. Even as a lie, I can't say, please. I know how you feel, but please forgive him. Roa simply wanted for you to like him. For that, he reincarnated over and over, and was looking forward to your arrival each time. But he's a human. He's not an existence that can live for a long, long time like you do. Yes, for humans, immortality is too far away. Roa believed his method of reincarnation would let him exist forever. But even that had its limits. Because that method was the same as making descendants, which shared the same gene pool and goals, and not creating another self for him. Roa is as good as gone now. He's just an existence which does the same thing over and over because of his past. So, I have to end it for him. Shiki, you already? Sanity returns to Arcoade's eyes. The deep crimson of her eyes turns to red. Her golden hair flutters underneath the moon. There is the Arcoade that I liked. I look up at her as if staring at the moon. Sorry, Ciel. I can't help but think she's incredibly beautiful. Those red eyes, those resolute yet friendly eyes, her white, slender curves, even with the gash I gave her on her chest that is still welling with blood. Everything about her, she really is. Arcoade really is beautiful. That's why it's so unfortunate. The vestiges of my chest tighten at the thought that it is to end like this. Damn it. If only Arcoade had returned to sanity just a bit faster, none of this would have had to happen. I see, Shiki. You're already one with Roa. I don't know. Just all of this was too much. Right now, as I speak, my memories are disappearing. Ciel said something like that if I tried too hard to see something that should not be seen, my blood vessels will burst and that I would lose my mind. Shiki, you idiot. Are you saying you'll let Ciel kill you? Of course not. But I'm already like this thanks to you. I probably can't hold on for long. Arcoade looks down at herself. Her chest and the large slash wrought by my knife. I don't believe it. Until now, I've never met someone who could wound me this much. There is a faint glimmer of resentment and regret in her voice. It really is too bad. But it looks like I'm at my limit as well. I need to return to my castle quickly to heal this wound. Right. So, you should just hurry and get out of here. She doesn't answer. It probably wasn't even a brief pause. Just for that instant. It's probably that I wanted to treasure the last moment before we parted. Arcoade gives an amazed sigh. You're such a mean guy. You say mean things until the very end. But you know what? I like that about you, Shiki. Saying that, with a smile to the very end, her body disappears like fading mist. I see. We were the same after all. Thinking aloud, I look up at the moon. In the end, it really was a brief moment, but we both returned to the relationship we had when we first teamed up together. I really liked her. It had nothing to do with the Roa inside of me. Just, she attracted me. That's why, parting like this after we were fighting only moments ago is too painful. Why did it turn out like this? Our relationship. I don't think we made that many big mistakes. The blood doesn't stop. I try to breathe, but blood just flows forth from my mouth like a pump. I'm almost gone. Arcoade should have taken it easy on me. If I get such a big hole in my chest, even a half vampire like me can't be saved. Thump. It's not my heart. The beating of my heart has long since stopped. The only pulse remains in my head. It's probably because I strained myself too hard to get Arcoade back. I, Tonoshiki, begin to fade, and Roa becomes stronger. My body is almost completely dead. After I die, Roa will take over. Even though I can't, Roa will probably find a way to heal himself. If that happens, I would make the same mistake Ciel did. Sorry. That's all I can say. Thump. I really can't keep conscious. Before that, I look at myself. The point is on my scar. The point of my death, of Roa's death. Tono-kun, you said it yourself, that you'd make me happy. So please, don't die here. That's why. All I can do is apologize. I can't ask for forgiveness. Even though I wanted to do so much, it turns out that I won't be able to do anything for her. Then, at least, in the very end, I should release her from her terrible fate. Sigh. Taking a deep breath, I place my knife on my chest. The point is at the tip of my knife. All that's left is for me to push. Just that. Stop. I can hear a voice. It has to be a hallucination. Tono-kun. A crying voice calls out from the school building. Looking up, I see a fully healed Ciel running towards me. Stop it. If I see her face, I will lose my resolve. Probably, I'll feel sorry and be unable to finish this. That's why, before she comes, I strengthen the power in my hand. The knife slides silently into my body. With just that. Stop. The voice disappears. An old book. I thought I saw an illusion of it disappearing page by page into the darkness. With that, I was able to fall into the deep darkness I fell into years ago. Tono-kun, Tono-kun, I hear a voice. Tono-kun, why? See? Just as I thought. No, I don't want this. If I heard this crying voice, why? You said you wouldn't die. I knew I would regret it. Daylight Blue, an epilogue. It was a hospital room that somehow seemed nostalgic. I let out a breath. I'm alive. My chest moves up and down as I breathe. A comfortable breeze blows in through the open window. The yellow curtains sway playfully in the wind. The fresh blue sky is enough to take my breath away. The air is warm like a spring day. I'm alive. I look around as I speak to myself in amazement. There's no one else in the spacious room. I'm lying in a bed with an IV in my right arm. There's a large bandage on my chest. What's this? I take out the IV and remove my bandage. The fuck? Dude, don't do that. There's nothing under the bandage. Only my chest. Having a bandage there means there's a wound there, but there's not a trace whatsoever of anything. I lift my head to the side questioningly. Did I do something to get a wound on my chest? I look over to the open door. From the empty hallway, some unknown child peers into the room. Before I can call out, the child walks away somewhere. What was that just now? Something. I feel like I forgot something. Tono, I'm coming in. The door gets knocked and Arihiko walks into the room. Yo, you're up. Good, good. We really couldn't talk much yesterday, but you seem a lot better now. He cheerfully walks over to the side of the bed. Arihiko, what are you doing here? Huh? What am I doing? I'm here to check up on you. You asked me that yesterday, too. You must still be out of it. Check up on who? I'm sure your head would space out after sleeping for 2 months, but don't keep asking the same thing you asked me yesterday. It's about your body, so don't let the doctor tell you about it. So didn't the doctor tell you about it? Saying that, Arihiko takes a seat in a nearby chair. Hey? I get even more confused and I hold my head. Oh, the doctor didn't say anything? You've been here for a long time, you know. Yeah. Well, I kind of figured that out, but... The doctor did say you might not know what's going on. Well, I guess it can't be helped. I guess it's more friendly for me to tell you than having the doctor tell you. Crossing his arms and nodding to himself, Arihiko looks me in the eyes. It was 2 months ago. You were found collapsed on the ground at school. Ground. Why is it? Now that he mentions it, I feel like I know something. It seems the track and field club found you during the morning practice. They come around at around 5 o'clock in the morning, so they saw you must have collapsed there during the night, but what's the truth? Even if you ask, I don't know. First of all, you say I was collapsed on the school grounds, but I never even go near there. Right. Well, anyway, you were found there collapsed. You weren't hurt or bleeding, so you were taken to the clinic, but because I thought it was your anemia. But you never woke up. So we called your house, and then you were brought to this hospital. You've been in a coma for about 2 months since then. Arihiko tells me an amazing story. A coma for 2 months? That's usually... Yeah, even the doctor seems to have thrown in the towel. To be in a coma for 2 months means you're a vegetable. Then, yesterday, you just woke up and said, "Yo, Arihiko." I thought my heart would stop. Ha ha. He laughs heartily. Well, you were always the kind who could have died at any moment anyway. So since I was thinking you'd be like this forever, it surprised me even more. Arihiko, I'm in that kind of situation, and you're saying pretty mean things. It's fine, 'cause you're healed. But it's quite amazing time you were a vegetable. Even though they said you had no hope of recovery, Arihiko came and visited you every day. Senpai would come there at that time too, so it was really hard to be here. Arihiko gives a meaningful laugh. Wait a minute. Wait, Arihiko? What's with that Akiya-chan? Akiya-chan is Akiya-chan. Wait, did he say Akiya-chan? Hold up. Hey, stop. Thank you. Oh, yeah, he did. Akiya-san would come visit you every day. Senpai would... I don't know how I just went right over that. I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. Akiya-chan is Akiya-chan. It's your younger sister, and every time we'd see each other, our relationship gets closer and closer. Akiya, so she came to visit me? Hearing that, I remember about Akiya. Like Arihiko said, I must still be out of it. It's like I forgot about everything outside of this hospital room. Well, I remember whatever he tells me about it, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel really light, and I feel like something strange. You met Akiya? Sorry, Arihiko. She's pretty uptight, right? She says some harsh things sometimes, but please overlook it. Pretty? Sometimes? Amazing, Tono. I never thought you were that great of a guy until now. Sitting in the chair with his arms still crossed, he laughs out loud. Arihiko is like he usually is. Let me guess, Akiya is standing right behind him. To be honest, I don't know what happened to me, but his infinite supply of cheerfulness does calm me down. Sigh. Leaning back on the bed, I take a deep breath. Oh, it's about time for your examination. And then I'll see you later. I was going to bring Senpai along, but she said she wouldn't come because she knows she was going to see you at school. Senpai? Yeah. We've been taking turns seeing you. Well, yesterday you woke up and hugged her right away, so she got kind of angry and said she wouldn't come here anymore. She was angry, so you could think up an excuse or something. Saying that, Arihiko leaves the room. Senpai? I can't quite remember. To me, there's only one person who I call Senpai. The person's name, face, and personality, I know them all. So why? Why do I feel like I shouldn't think deeply about this Senpai? I feel light. It's probably because I've been asleep for 2 months and my body doesn't move at all. I feel like something is missing. Come to think of it, there's one other thing that's strange. I remember seeing this hospital room before, but If my memory serves me correctly, the hospital room from 8 years ago has to have been long gone by now. The following day, I returned to the mansion. Probably because I was asleep for so long, it feels like forever since I've been back at my own house. Before I go to the door to the mansion, I take a walk in the woods and come out to a strange place. I never knew it. I never knew there was a Japanese-style building like this here. I hear a commotion behind me. I whirl around and see some kid just standing there. Did he get lost? He seems quite detached, almost like a ghost or something. It's just on his chest. That scar on his chest showing through his kimono is terribly... Shiki-san, what are you doing? Kohaku-san? Yes, I came to greet you. I was waiting for you by the doorway, but you headed towards the garden instead. I was a little surprised. As usual, Kohaku-san has that cheerful smile. Well, I was just walking around. Kohaku-san, do you know who that kid is? Huh? A kid? What do you mean? It seems like Kohaku-san didn't see that kid. No, if you didn't see him, that's fine. Shall we go back? Aki is probably waiting. Yes, Akiya-sama didn't say anything, but she was pacing back and forth in the lobby all morning. I'm sure she's anxiously waiting for you, Shiki-san. Oh. Then I should hurry up, or who knows how mad she'll get. Yes, let's hurry, Shiki-san. Kohaku-san takes my hand and we run to the mansion. As we leave, I feel like someone called me and I look back to the Japanese-style building. Ow, my foot. Is it an illusion? The kid just stares as we run towards the mansion, as if he wanted to say something. Even if something does seem missing, the life of Tonoshiki returns to normal. I'm back at the mansion, Akiya scolds me, Hisui wakes me up in the morning, and after eating the breakfast Kohaku-san made, I leave the mansion. There's something missing. Without being able to remember what it is, I get to school. Yo, morning. You can come back to school now? Arihiko greets me cheerfully. I heard you were bad at remembering for a while, or you had to rehabilitate for a while. I see. For you to come to school like this must be because of that. Arihiko gives a meaningful laugh. I understand. It's only a month until graduation. That means you can be together for only a bit longer. What do you mean? Together with who? With who? Of course, you and... Arihiko cuts off. I hear quick footsteps. Underneath the bright, early spring sunshine, breathing quickly, she appears before me. Good morning. Great weather today, isn't it, Tono-kun? She gives her usual smile. Senpai. I gasp. That's right. Why, couldn't I remember about her until now? Tono-kun? I said good morning. Yeah, good morning, senpai. I reply awkwardly. She seems a bit puzzled and tilts her head. Geez, you finally got out of the hospital, but you're not cheerful at all. I was so looking forward to seeing you again. Looking forward to... Why can't I remember? Did something happen? I feel like something... Ow, my knee just popped. I feel like something very important happened between the two of us, but I can't remember. All I can remember is that she's a third-year upperclassman who took a liking to me and Arihiko for some reason, and that we would spend lunchtime together. I can't remember. I can't remember anything else. It's like I forgot everything else because it was so sad or difficult that I cut the unneeded memories away. Geez, Tono-kun, did you forget our promise? Senpai looks at me disappointedly. Promise. promise. An important promise. Hey, you said the three of us would hang out in town, but you collapsed the other day before and you had to go to the hospital. Or collapsed the day before that and had to go to the hospital. She looks like she was really looking forward to that little thing. So I didn't care about anything else. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Please don't forget it this time, Tono-kun. No, you can go ahead and forget Tono. Then Senpai and I can have fun by ourselves. Arahiko repeats what I've heard some time before. That won't do. We may not have a chance to do this again, so this time it has to be the three of us. She seems unusually angry. That's not true. We're still students, so we can always hang out. Yes, certainly you and Tono-kun will have lots of free time, but I will be very busy starting in spring. The university I plan on attending is a little far, so it will not be easy to come back here. Ah, that's right. Senpai, you. Arahiko stops mid-sentence. I don't understand what she's talking about, though. Yes, after I graduate, I plan on going overseas to study. It's always been my dream to be a master at crafting cakes. Thought it'll be curry. She's probably already a master of that, to be fair. With such a smile, Senpai says something outrageous. Senpai? Then you won't be staying here? Yes, I'll stay here. My house is here, so I don't plan on going to live over there. I can't exactly leave my father alone either. But the person I will be studying under is very strict, so I won't be able to come back for at least 3 years. What? But it's always been my childhood dream. The places I'm going to work as a live-in employee is a craftsman for the king. King? Normally, non-relatives are not allowed to work there, but you told me I had great talents, so I am able to go there. Senpai happily speaks of another world I didn't even know existed. Oh, that's great, but she'll be gone for 3 years. Why? Yes, thank you very much. 3 years is a long time, but you can wait that long, right, Tono-kun? Senpai gives a faint smile to hide her embarrassment. Now don't be unfaithful because I'm gone, Tono-kun. You have a tendency to get swept away easily, so really, I want to take you with me. Senpai sighs. Senpai? But that just can't be. You're still a student, so it wouldn't be impossible to convince Akiha-san in a year or two. So this time I will just trust you and leave for 3 years. Senpai declares this fiercely. Arahiko takes all this in with his mouth hanging wide open. So, this may be the last time the three of us get to play together. So this time, please make a good memory of it. She sounds truly happy as she says this. Throb. It feels like the scar on my chest hurts. Tono-kun? What's wrong? Grabbing your chest like that, are you still hurt? No, not really. My chest was never injured, so it's just your imagination. As I answer, it feels strange. It's like something is inconsistent. The first bell rings. Morning homeroom is about to start. Then I'll come over again at lunch break, okay? Senpai disappears towards the school building. Before she can do that, I ask her a question. Senpai, your father, what kind of person is he? Eh? Tono-kun, you know my father, don't you? My father has a bakery at the nearby town, and you came to buy from there before. My father said you were such a pleasant young man, too. She sounds truly happy as she says this. Now that she mentions it, I think it did happen. But that's wrong. Senpai, there is no way your father can be alive. Tono-kun? Senpai calls out to me. Everything suddenly turns colder. You realized it, Tono-kun? She asks me, somewhat sadly. Yeah, I did. I say that as tears fill my eyes. I wish I never realized it. Then I could have continued to live happily in this world where no one gets hurt. Amazing. Normally people never realize it. Usually they ignore all the inconvenient inconsistencies. Yeah. Even if it was a little strange, if I was happy, I should have ignored it. That's right. To be not able to lie about such things, you really are honest. Senpai. The girl who looks like Senpai says this with incredible sadness. I really feel sorry, and regret tightens in my chest. But it really couldn't be helped. My school life from before. The Ciel Senpai that seems like she lived in this town. The Tonoshiki who survived with that wound without a single scar on his chest. These days similar to the original days without a single moment of unhappiness. That was just too happy. And I knew this was a dream. Jeez, you were always like this, Tono-kun. Even though you overlook so many trivial things, you realize one thing that you really wish you wouldn't. But that is one of your good traits, I suppose. But still. She looks at me regretfully. You should have at least overlooked it this time. Senpai disappears. And so does the world. It disappears in the same way. And everything disappears. The world returns to the way it should be. I died. No, if I was dead, I even wouldn't have seen such a dream, so I might be on the very verge of death then. Well, anyway, it's certain this has to be quite close to death. Strangely, I'm not afraid. No matter what, no matter if I'm already dead or about to disappear, or have already disappeared, right now, that person is more important to me than myself. Senpai. That person who was smiling before me earlier. Ciel, who has so happily told me this fairy tale. Without pain or suffering, a completely ordinary life, a story as she waited. No sadness at all, just a very commonplace life, a radiant world. To me, or Arihiko, it was a completely boring repetition of days without any value. That boring thing was... To her, it was an unfulfillable dream. Thinking aloud, I feel sad. I selfishly ended my life. I didn't think that deeply about what would happen afterwards. If this was what her dream was, then no matter how terrible I become or how pitiful I become, maybe I should have stayed beside her, being helped by her and protecting her. And that is the wish of the person called Ciel. It is not the wish of yourself as Tonoshiki, so you don't need to worry about it, right? Eh? Tonoshiki has acted on what he thought was the best choice. You don't need to burden yourself with what Ciel wants. If you do that, you will be burdened by someone else's dreams like earlier. Although there's no one here other than me anymore, although there's no one other than me here anymore, I can hear someone else's voice. Yeah, you woke yourself up from the dream, so there is nothing else here besides Shiki. I see, you can use your brain a little, Tonoshiki. Then, you are. No, I don't want to get the wrong impression. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. Roa was killed by you already. In the first place, if Roa still existed, then there would be no way you could exist, even though you are already dead. I don't quite get it. Then what am I right now? Let's see, maybe you're on the verge of losing yourself? The time you stabbed yourself and the time you died? I don't think this is the brief moment in between the two. Something snaps. I see a projection of the familiar hospital room. A thing called a dream cannot be completely unknown. Any story is only an extension of what that person knows. So, the dream you saw has some truth about reality, such as, like becoming a vegetable without gaining consciousness. Yeah, that at least is true. After you stabbed... had to cough. After you stabbed yourself, you were still left without waking up. This instant is really just a small gap of time between the two. When you wake up from this dream, you will simply be comatose, not even able to dream. Then, what will happen to Senpai? I don't know. But shouldn't you think about yourself more than other people? It won't be bad, so just close your eyes again. This time, try not to wake up. If you do that, then you can watch that happy dream again. I don't understand. Who are you? Hey, that doesn't really matter. If you wake up, you won't even be able to dream. You'd just become a pile of organs, you know? So, it's just better to sink back into that dream. You really did well. It is too bad for that person Ciel, but you and I always had horrible luck. So, I think we could see at least a happy dream, you know? So, who are you? You just said that earlier yourself. Since you woke up from that dream, there's nothing else here besides Shiki. So I must probably look like this. Kid. Hey, excuse yourself. I'm a year older than you, you know. Tonoshiki is only 8 years old, right? With that in mind, I have existed for almost 9 years. Then you are... That's it. I was cast away until now, but since you fell into the same place, I called out to you. But it's not like we're actually separate people. We are the same existence after all. Even if you forgot, you are the Shiki that is the extension of me. But in my case, I am your foundation, but not your past, so I'm just trash. Must be my waifu. Ha. Well, it is difficult to talk about it, so let's just leave it that aside. I don't understand. Then what does that trash want to make me do? That's what I've been saying. I'm warning you not to wake up. Tonoshiki's reality is nothing more than spending the rest of your life in a coma. If you awake to that, you won't even be able to dream. Even though you could always manage your body, your brain would not function. In other words, death. Not death to your existence, but the death of your will. In that situation, you wouldn't need to die, right? Even if you woke up, you can't live in reality. I'd be much happier if you just watched a dream about reality here. What is this? Even if I just slept the rest of my life, dreaming selfishly isn't fun at all. That's true. You can either wake up to reality and face the death of your will, or you can stay here and dream. No matter which, there isn't really much of a difference. If you wake up to reality and die, you wouldn't trouble yourself like this. If you call that happiness, it probably is many times happier. But I want you to dream. We have the same name, but the dreams we can see are different. My dreams are usually about that day, or the day I had until I was 9 years old. That may be happy, but there's no future for Shiki there. Such as getting older, having a person you like, living busily every day. My reality, my knowledge, the future I can imagine from that is so small and hopeless that I can't even imagine those things. But your dreams were different. What is normal for you looks brilliant to me, even if they are just dreams. But with my limited years, I can't even think of your dreams by myself. If you can't stand your own selfish dreams, then I can help a little. I can let you remember the other things you forgot that happened in the past. If we work together to fool each other, we can see a somewhat happy dream. It seems you don't like that. I guess once you realize the truth, you have to wake up. But your reality is almost over. Certainly, dreams can't compare to reality. But still, if you try, I think you can at least become a bit happy, right? No. Wouldn't we be the only ones to becoming happy there, Shiki? You're stupid. It's simple to be happy by yourself. If you start to think about others, it gets much more difficult. As a result, even what's good or bad becomes too difficult to figure out. And in reality, you and I never did anything wrong. What, bugged life mechanics? But this is how we ended up, right? See, that's the person you are, Shiki. You only had things stolen from you, so you shouldn't worry about making others happy. That may be true, but still, I made a promise not to leave her alone. If everything right now, if all of it is a dream, I have to wake up. Even if there might be nothing for you if you wake up, because she's waiting. I have to go back. Even if it means my death, I promise I'll be there where she's waiting. I see. Then, this is goodbye. I couldn't leave you alone, so I lent you a hand. But, like I thought, you don't need me now. All the same, it really was fun. I was able to see a good dream that maybe my future could be like that. What's this? Shaking my hand all of a sudden. That's just weird. Haha, I even felt weird. But it can't be helped because I can't give it to you unless we do this. Even though we are the same, if we parted this much, we need an image to merge. Well, I guess it's useless for me to tell you because you even forgot about that. Hey, you're disappearing. You're starting to form shape. Well, it's about time for our goodbyes. I'll forget about you, so please forget about me. Now, it's meaningless to go back to the Shiki becoming Tonoshiki before it's meaningless to go back to the Shiki before becoming Tonoshiki. Oh, yeah, about her. I like her too. So I agree on the fact that she's more important than you. But if that's the case, never do something stupid again to make her cry, okay? And he disappears. No, maybe died would be closer in meaning. I feel a strange pain. Missing something I won't be able to get back. I feel sad about something. Even though I tried to remember, I didn't quite grasp that it was nostalgia. My consciousness returns. I wake up from a moment's dream. If that dream disappears, and I disappear... I'm coughing again. The only thing waiting for me is death. Aimlessly, the morning light shines. My mind is hazy. I still can't think of anything. My body is collapsed. My head is on something soft. That's strange. I should have woken up from that dream already. I open my eyes. I see her crying face. I just reach out my hand and touch her cheek. Her tears course down my fingers. Without a doubt, these warm tears are real. She doesn't say anything. Neither do I. I don't feel that words are necessary. I just feel her warmth against me. Thump. In the night sky, the moon still hangs from the time Arkaway disappeared, and my chest is covered in blood. But that gaping wound is closed. Did she heal me, or did that wound never exist in the first place? Well, if I'm alive, that's just a trivial matter since I'm able to exist here right now. Hono-kun, can you understand me? Her shaking voice. I'm surprised. Senpai, you're really crying. Yes. Never felt like this ever before. Isn't that a bit much, Senpai? I ramble with my hazy head. I feel spaced out. There's no headache. There's no pain. I don't know what happened to Roa or what happened to me. All I know is Ciel is here with me in the morning light. Sigh. What happiness. What I want is all right here before me. Thank goodness. I can keep my promise. I say that after a long sigh. What are you saying? Aren't we supposed to go with Inui-kun and hang out today after school? So we really don't have time to just sit here all day, do we? She speaks and gives a mischievous smile like before. I see. Then I should get up. Ow. As soon as I try to get up, my chest stabs with pain. Oh, don't move yet. It was a big wound, so you should stay like this for at least another hour. Ciel, you really contradicted yourself. You know that, right? Oh, yes, it does seem so. I've seemed to have lost my mind since you woke up. She gives a deep blush. Oh man, I'll be bored if I have to stay like this for another hour. All I can move is my arms, and she should get tired from having my head on her lap for an hour. Sorry. Doesn't this tire you out? You could let me sleep on the ground. Jeez, what are you saying? I'm doing this out of my own will, so please indulge my selfishness. Her cheeks turn even redder, but she continues to look at me. And if I stayed like this, I thought you might do it. I remember. Come to think of it, I think we made a promise like that before. Yeah. I want to do so too. Saying that, I reach out to her face with my only free arm. She quietly lowers her face. Our lips meet deeply. After what feels like an hour, we separate. I'm speechless. Just, at last, for real, I feel like I've woken from a long sleep. First, good morning, Ciel. Yes, good morning, Tono-kun. Since her smiling face and her tears are more glorious than anything on this earth, I relax and close my eyes. Eh? Tono-kun? Tono-kun? Sorry, senpai. I want to sleep a little longer. I really felt relaxed and all my tiredness returned. If I can, I want to sleep in senpai's arms, but I don't think that's possible. You can just put me somewhere, so when classes start, wake me up. She sounds a little disappointed. But really, I'm sleepy right now. I understand, then I'll carry you to my room, but is it okay? Isn't that bad? We'll miss school if we do that. It's okay. Let's skip for today. Besides, there are a lot of things I want to ask you about, Tono-kun. And then I feel myself being lifted. Hey, senpai, the clinic is fine. We don't have to go to your room. Denied. Tono-kun, you have to tell me what you did with Arcwade when I wasn't there. Ciel smiles as she holds me. There's enough intensity to almost banish all traces of sleepiness away. Then, let's go. The sun is just rising, so if we hurry, no one will see us. Senpai, that's why the clinic is much better. With a light stomp, Ciel takes a huge leap. I feel weightless, like I'm floating in space. At this rate, we really will be at Ciel's apartment soon, but... Whew. I feel like I really have fallen in love with a surprising person. But I'm more than prepared. Even though I've settled the problem with Roa, senpai has her own problems as well. I don't think we can return to a peaceful life. But even still, I've decided to be with this person already. No matter what happens in the future, we'll get through it together. That's right, Shiki. I whisper to the person in my dream. Oh, that was Tono. Well then, first things first. I have to start seriously thinking about what I should tell her about Arcwade. And that is the true ending of Ciel's route. That was much longer than I remembering. I do remember that scene though. That is not like a... I'm gonna skippy. That is not a one that, you know, that's just kind of like there for me. I remember that. I do remember that ending. It took me by surprise at first because I realized that there was stuff going on like as well, before Shiki did, because of, well, reading comprehension. And I'm not that smart, but Shiki's a dum-dum. But yes, we will take Ciel Sensei's lesson. You have reached Ciel's true ending. Well done. Each heroine, with one exception, has 2 different kinds of endings. A true ending and a good ending. After reaching one of the endings, please go back a little and re-advance through the story. A different event should await you. Well then, thank you very much for playing up to this point. Let's meet again somewhere in Tsukihime. Yeah, those are always kind of boring. But yeah, next time in this almost hour-long episode, good Christ, next time we will be making our way from the choice that we left off at, or not left off at, the choice that I saved at, the last choice in the game of this route. I'm rambling. The last choice in this route, we will be on our way to Ciel's good ending, and I'm excited for that because I remember one single thing about the good ending for Ciel, and I remember it being kind of funny. So, I hope to see you all next time where we will start that. Woohoo! Yeah!